Using Teraterm with the ATS22 Metos 3.3 DTU unit. What you'll need for this is the jumper placed onto peg J1, shown on an alternative video. You'll need your comms cable connected to the micro USB, and you'll need the power switched on onto your unit and connected to your PC or tablet. If you're uncertain what COM port you're using on your PC, the easiest way to determine that is by going into Device Manager. And once into Device Manager, you should have a list appear, and what you're looking for is ports, COM and LPT. If I expand on that, you'll see I've got a COM port 4 here for a USB serial device. If I unplug my comms cable from my Metos DTU, you'll find the COM4 disappears. If I plug it back in, it will reappear, hence confirming that it's COM4 that we're looking for. So, Teraterm, this is the icon. We open Teraterm up, we choose serial, and we go and choose that COM4, and it will enable us to connect straight into the menu on the ATS22. 3 menu options, 1, 2, and 3. The first one we're going to look at is number 1, the system. So I click number 1 on the keyboard, and then I'm going to go number 1 again for quick view. This is quite useful to determine if there's any uncertainty, the actual ID number of the DTU. There will be stickers on the exterior of the unit, there'll be stickers on the inside of the enclosure, and probably on the printed circuit board. But the 100% test as to what the number is to log into Teraterm, and this one, as you can see, is 00211C79. The relevance behind this is that we need that number from you to link it to the appropriate field that you have your DTU installed into. If a motherboard gets swapped out, the unique number is actually relating to the motherboard, and so that number could change. So just an important point. I'm going to escape out of there, and I'm now going to go down to sensors to show you how to check sensors that are connected to your DTU. And to do a sensor test, we need to hit the letter T, just here, do sensor test. And once I hit that letter T, we've got a number of options coming up. The option 0 is the main one to test the solar panel, if that's working correctly, what energy that's putting into your battery, the battery power levels, voltage-wise, and if you've got rain tippers attached, that will also appear on the list here. So I'm going to hit numbers 0. I've got no rain gauges, but what I have got is a solar panel and a battery, but the solar panel at the moment is covered and in darkness, so I'm not expecting too much from it, which we can see here, 0. But the voltage in this battery that I've got attached at the moment is 6.3 volts. If we had a rain gauge attached, it would appear here. And if we rock the rocker switch, we would start to see values clocking up on the rocker. Every rock of the switch past the read switch is equivalent to 0.2 millimeters. To quit out of here, it's Q, which should take us back to our menu options again. What I have got attached to this DTU is in fact a moisture probe, and it's connected to extended input A. All of these instructions, incidentally, are in your Agritech manuals, which starts with the ATS22 on pages 24 to 27 inclusive. It's all in there. So, as I say, I've got a moisture probe on extended input A. So if I hit number 6, it should now connect to my moisture probe. Which should appear in a minute or two. It does, and we can see straight away here. This is it's a 30 centimeter probe. Here's our moistures. Here's our conductivity, and here are our temperatures. Now, I've actually got my hand around the bottom sensor, which is this one here, which is why we're getting a meaningful EC reading, 1.3, and a moisture of 41, 42. If I put my hand around the top sensor now, we should also get a reading from the top sensor for both moisture, conductivity, and indeed temperature. There we go. So the relevance behind this is that when you install your moisture probe, you need to make certain you're getting good readings from all your sensors. If you're in a pot, if it's a 7-litre pot, for example, you may find it's not deep enough to get the top sensor in. So you may just need to look at the bottom two sensors. Obviously, if you're in a big blueberry pot, 30-litre pot or something similar, or indeed the soil, all three sensors should have good readings on them. If you see readings, it's certainly in single figures, you need to reinstall the probe. It means there are air gaps around the probe and you're going to get poor data. It's Q to quit. Now, sometimes on the moisture probe, hitting Q, it locks Teraterm up and fails to respond. So the easiest way to round that is to disconnect the comms cable, which I've now done. And I'm going to go and shut Teraterm down and reopen it. And go to COM4 and it becomes available to me. It hasn't quite recognized it yet. It can be a little bit quirky. There we are. And we're straight back into the our menu. The next thing I'm going to show you is the modem. So I'm going to hit number 3, which takes us through to a number of options. First one I'm going to go to is modem settings, number 1. What this will now do is actually switch the modem on. And once you've done this, you just need to let it run through its thing and not touch it until it's finished and it comes back to an additional menu, which you've got here. So we can get modem information here. The two important ones here are actually number 5, the APN, and number 4, the signal quality. APN, number 5, each network provider will have a different set of APN settings. In this D2 at the moment, I'm connected with a UK Vodafone SIM card whose APN is the word internet and whose username and password is none in both cases. Differing networks, as I mentioned, have different APNs, and this is where you can go and change the APNs. If I click on number 5, you can see here at the moment the user APN country is United Kingdom, the APN MCC, and each country has its own values. For the UK, it's 234. The user APN MNC is 15, and then, as I've mentioned, the APN name is internet. And I said username and password is none. It's actually web and web. My apologies. If we wanted to change that APN, we would hit letter I to insert a new APN access or code, and it would then give you the option to go and enter those values into the settings here. Once you've set them and they appear like this, they're all set to talk to the network provider. You can escape, and to make sure you've actually got some A, the card is registered, and B, you've got decent signal, number 4, signal quality graph, is the one to go to. So I'm going to hit on that button now, and essentially what we're looking for here is the signal quality will range from 0 to 31. 6 and lower is poor. 7 upwards we can accept on this number RSSI. We're getting a value of 18 here, which means we've got a good signal in the office that I'm sitting in. As mentioned, 10 upwards really you've got great signal. 7 upwards is acceptable. 6 and below, it starts to get a bit intermittent and sketchy. So that's the way to test the signal. Escape out of here will take you back to the original menu. where you can go and change the APN number 5. Once you're happy with all of that, you can escape back out of here, and what it'll then do is turn the modem off. If you want to do a test communication with the server, you can do that, and I'll show you that once the modem's switched off. It's option number 3 here, send station data. Clicking on number 3 will effectively switch the modem on, and it'll send its data through, and when it's finished it'll say successful and switch the modem back off again. I'm not going to do it because it'll prolong the length of this video, but that's the way of testing it, and as soon as that's been done, we will be able to see that information up at our end. And that essentially is a very sort of quick video of how to use the Teraterm on the ATS22. As mentioned, refer to the manuals, pages 24 to 27, for other sensors to check those, which buttons you need to press. It's all detailed out in there.